What's going on, everybody? This is your girl, Busy Bree, with Busy Bree's Hot Topics. And I got my girls, Lovey D.
Hey, hey now, what's popping?
And I got my other girl, Jen for Real 100.
Holla.
How you guys doing today?
We are good.
Blessed by the best.
I love it.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yes. You guys know we are in May. So May is Mental Health Awareness, as Jen for Real 100 has made me aware of. So, with mental health awareness, since its inception in 1949, Mental Health Awareness Month has been a cornerstone of addressing the challenges faced by millions of Americans living with mental health conditions. So, we talk about mental health, you guys. We are talking about a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. Our mental health influences how we think, how we feel, and behave in daily life. It also affects our ability to handle stress, face and overcome challenges, as you know, this lifetime we're going to have, maintain and build relationships, and recover from difficulties and setbacks. Being mentally or emotionally healthy means more than being free of depression, anxiety, or other psychiatric illnesses. Mentally healthy people often enjoy life. They have the ability to laugh and have fun, are able to deal with stress and bounce back from adversity. As you know, this life, you're going to have adversity, okay? Feel a sense of meaning and purpose in both their activities and the relationships, are flexible and adaptable to change, are able to build and maintain fulfilling relationships. So with that being said, and I have a little bit more, but I kind of wanted to segue to my girls, Jennifer 100 and Lovey D. When you guys think of mental health awareness, what do you guys think of in particular, and in what aspect of your life?
Let's
Jen.
first. I think about me.
Mm-hmm.
Think about me because I am one of the faces of mental health illness. And I don't call it an illness anymore. I just call it a disorder. And I no longer say I'm suffering with mental illness. I just say I live with mental illness because I live with it. I don't suffer from it.
There you go. I love that.
I'm living.
I love that, Jen. I really do. I love that. How long did it take you to get there, by the way? Just curious.
Probably the last 3 years it got me to the point where I stopped saying suffering. When I started getting into therapy.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. As you know, it's been a stigma that African Americans don't do therapy. They go to church.
Yeah.
But not everybody goes to church. So
And
I
even
like
if
that
you do,
I like that it's changing. I really do. I like that that's changing.
because I go to church and I've been told my whole time, just pray, 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 until I start having those panic attacks, and prayer wasn't helping no panic attacks. So
Yeah.
and that's why God made doctors, and doctors made other things and other people and things to help you. And God gave them the tools. So God works through other things.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and shift this on over to Lovey D because I really want to hear what Lovey D has to say. Lovey D, what about you?
I would say pretty much, I'm just glad Jen gave us a great terminology for it, that she's no longer suffering with it. She's living with it. And likewise, as I think a lot of us as Black females, definitely, I don't think the Black men won't either, but I was raised Church of God in Christ, so I was never identified as having an issue. It was always, anytime I was having a moment, quote unquote, it was, oh, the devil is just trying to attack you. Go to church, get on the altar. We're going to pray that spirit up off of you. And it was never identified I had a problem till as I got older and an adult and with children, before I really had to have a talk with someone. It was actually my old employer, Black female, that basically helped me realize you need to go get therapy, regardless of what your mom, your pastor, anyone else says, you need to go get some therapy. And I'm so glad I took her advice, because I discovered I did have an issue of mental illness at the time, and that the treatment, like Jen as well, getting therapy has tremendously helped me to deal with uh, my mental illness. Not schizophrenic or anything of that nature, but I have dealt with depression since I was a preteen. And sometimes it's been really bad. But again, I'm just so glad that we have learned to identify that there is an issue outside of just going to church that can fix it. And I'm so grateful that there are more of us people of color who are identifying we have a mental illness and we are getting it treated versus trying to quote unquote just deal with it. And I, for lack of a better word, as Jen used, living with it and not getting treatment.
Right. Well, thanks for sharing that with me, you guys. And again, as we do these shows, I learn more and more about you guys as well.
Yeah.
I will say, I am curious to know, was there a particular event that happened where you were like, I need to get help, I need to get treatment? Because I do feel like there's a lot of people living with mental either illness or they are having depression and they're not getting treated because of that stigma, like we mentioned. So, is there a particular event or situation where you were like, I need help?
I think for me, it when I first realized I needed help, I've had incidents since identifying I needed help. But I think the incident that caused me to know I needed help was when I was going through my divorce. And I was at a point of one of my lowest, it wasn't the lowest, but one of my lowest to where I finally called to get help. And the person on the other end of the line that was getting information about me, I guess I don't know how to treat me and what to bring me in for, asked me a series of questions. And then she got to the last one of, was I having thoughts of suicide? And I told her no, but I'm having some very strong thoughts of homicide. And it's kind of
Mm.
funny now, when I tell people about it, like, because she was like, how soon can you get here? And I came back to reality really quick, like, oh shoot, they finna put me in a straitjacket. So I was like, okay, but I'm good. I was like, but no, I'm not at that time. I was not thinking about self-inflicted harm, but I was having some really strong thoughts of hurting someone else. And that was when it was kind of like, we need you to get in so that we can get a treatment plan together for you. And it kind of went from there. But again, that was 20 plus years ago when I first realized I have an issue that needs treatment.
And thank you for that transparency because not everybody is that transparent. And I
I
do
think
appreciate that. And I think the audience needs to hear that.
I think the more that we're transparent, especially people of color, I think it helps our community that people can understand I'm not in it alone.
Yes.
And again, as I said before, Jen and I had did a show once before on Live with Levy D that we talked about mental illness, and there were so many people who came forward and felt like if we were talking about ours, they could talk about theirs, and it gave them a platform to open up, as we're doing right now with Busy Breeze Hot Topics, to identify it, acknowledge it, and now get the help, and
Yeah.
not just feel like I got to suffer in silence.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and pass that baton right on over to you, Jen. Was there a particular event? And if you don't feel comfortable sharing it, that's okay. But was there a particular time frame or event where you felt like, oh my God, I need to get help like now?
It is so interesting because where it happened at was actually in a therapist's office.
Oh, wow.
But the therapy was not for me though.
Okay.
Yeah, it was for one of my sons. Not gonna say which one. One of my sons, they were in school having behavior issues, and of course, they always want to push it on. Oh, he need Adderall, he need this, he need that. So his father and I was like, nope, we're gonna take him to see a therapist. So in the middle of that therapist session, I had a full blown on panic attack.
Oh wow.
So I just remember sitting there, and I remember it so vividly. I could see it in my head. I just remember sitting there saying, telling the man, I forgot what his name was. I was like, I gotta go. He was like, what do you mean? I said, I gotta go. I gotta go. I just kept saying, I gotta go. And I just opened the door and just went running down the hall, screaming and crying. And I went inside the bathroom. And then the interesting part was that happened a couple of weeks ago at work. And I didn't know what it was. So no one said what it was. Like, everybody's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know what happened. So like, okay, well, maybe you need to go home. So it happened in that therapist's office, and he ran in the bathroom. He said, do you know what just happened to you? I said, no. He said, have this happened before? I said, yes. He said, that's a panic attack. So
Wow.
that's the first time I was able to put a name to it, a face
Yeah.
to it, a feeling to it. And it's real. And I tell some people that, oh, no, it ain't real. I take meds for it. I call myself a beautiful mess all the time. So that's how I cope. I'm like, I'm just a beautiful mess.
Yes.
And I love it. I love
Yeah.
being this beautiful mess. So yeah, I take medicine to help. And like I said, I started seeing a therapist a couple of years ago to kind of, because the medication, for me, I feel like it's just me putting a Band-Aid over a wound. I was not opening up to what was causing it. I was just like, self-medicate is easier just to pop a pill than to deal with what the root of the issue was. And what I thought was the real issue, really, it was more than what I thought. Like, especially when they say they go back to your childhood. I was like, I had a great child. I ain't never around my child. I had a great child. I was spoiled, brat. I was this, I was that. But then I start uncovering little things, just little hidden little things. And I was like, oh, dang, okay. I had a good childhood, but there was some little things in there that could have been better. But I was able to shed light on that. And then a lot of it had to do with my marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. Marriage will do it. That's for sure. So I was going to say too, I'm glad you mentioned that, Jen, and thank you for sharing that and being transparent as well.
You're welcome.
I will say with marriage, that tests a lot of people. And I've been seeing recently, and I have to let everybody understand and know. I don't know if you guys have been seeing like the news stories, but there have been so many situations where you have seen like those, what do they call them? Suicide murders or murder, suicide. I don't know what they're called, but it's like when you unalive someone and then you turn the gun on yourself. There's been a lot of situations like that lately between both men and women among, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be the young people, but people's emotions are way out of control these days because they're taught not to get help. As I think especially men too are told, you know, suck it up, blah, blah, blah. And so they just harvest all this in honing in on all this emotion that they're feeling. And then they just, you hear about it all the time, where they take it out on the person that they're in a relationship with. The person wanted to leave and now they're like, their life is over. I think there's something to be said for putting all your trust, admiration, love, desire, hopes, dreams on one person. That is so powerful. And I know we're kind of going off a little bit. People, please, especially if you're young, do not put all of your hopes and dreams and emotions on one person. That's a lot of responsibility. You don't know what that person is dealing with. And like Jen just said, there's some childhood trauma that the person that you're with may be dealing with.
Yeah.
And they cannot be responsible for your happiness when they can barely be happy for themselves. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to leave you and you're thinking, oh, this is my happiness, you got to really take stock in that and go seek some help. Go seek therapy if you can't afford it, because let's be clear though, therapy is expensive. I don't know, is there free therapy out there? I don't know if there is.
And you got there's
some out there. Yeah, there are free clinics out there for people.
Okay.
And it does come with, prior to going into a relationship, a lot of us, and I'm guilty of it myself, we go into relationships and marriage is already broken, for lack of a better word, and we haven't quote unquote fixed ourselves. And like you said, we go into it not together, I'm gonna say mentally, and I'm gonna just go a step further, spiritually, we're not together. And when you go into it already broken and expecting someone to fix you, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
So you do need, if you even have a smidget or an inkling that something's wrong, go get it identified and make sure that there's nothing wrong, or if there's something wrong, you can get the treatment for it before inflicting your situation on someone else.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this too. You do have to be open to the process. You can't just expect. So Lovey did mention go get some help, but you have to be willing to help yourself in the process.
You have to be willing to accept the help, and that's the thing. And at first and foremost, for me, it was acknowledging I had an issue, because I kept getting told by family members and church members, you don't have an issue. It's the devil trying to attack you. And
it's the devil, all right.
Yeah. So when you hear that for so long, you know, again, you always get told Black people don't go to therapy, they go to church. They go get the spirit prayed off of them. And so when you hear that for so long, it becomes part of what you believe until you finally can realize I have an issue. First, identify I do have an issue. Secondly, go and identify what the issue is. And for me, it was find out what my triggers were with my issue so that I could avoid those or deal with them quickly to where they didn't escalate. And I think when we start to take the steps of healing and fixing ourselves, then that's where you, again, not saying the mental illness goes away, but you learn to live with it. You learn to for me, I'll say appreciate it.
Mhm.
Because it made me almost become more understanding when it came to other people and made me want to help other people who were dealing with it that didn't know how to identify or accept that they have an issue.
That's interesting. So thank you for that. I will say we all experience disappointment, loss, and change. And while a normal part of our life, these emotions and experiences still cause sadness, anxiety, and stress. But just as physically healthy people are better able to bounce back from illnesses or injury, you guys, people with strong mental health are better able to bounce back from adversity, trauma, stress. This skill is called resilience. Not everybody has resilience, you guys.
You're right.
People who are emotionally and mentally resilient have the tools for coping with difficult situations and maintaining a positive outlook. They remain focused, flexible, and productive in bad times as well as good. I will say, I do know quite a few people like this, and then I know people who are on the exact opposite spectrum. These people look totally different. It's almost like you got one person over here living in a different dimension than the other person because they just handle things differently. So what that looks like is, have you guys ever heard of the term, this person looks at the glass half empty and this person looks at like the glass is half full?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a half full person.
And I think all of us are, to be honest with you. I think all of us are. And that's why we are here today and we're a team. Because you cannot have a team, to me, I don't think, especially in like this kind of capacity, because there's always going to be that one person that's going to bring everybody down. And negative energy is very powerful. You can literally have a whole party going on. One person comes to the party negative, and now everybody's like, the wind out of the sails has been.
We're all ready to go home now. Party over.
Ooh, that transference of energy is real.
I will say, like, when I got married a couple years ago, I was so happy. I felt like everybody who came was supposed to be there, and a few people who didn't show up were not supposed to be there. And I feel like it was meant to be. And I just feel like that's energy. So, but I do think that what you guys are experiencing, a lot of people have experienced. I will say, like, when things go wrong in the past, I actually started seeing a therapist when I was a young child. I think it was because I dealt with abuse from seeing my parents in a domestic abuse situation, and it affects you. It's a transfer of energy, and it can make you feel angry, and you don't even know where the anger is coming from. It's not your anger, but it was passed down from your parents or a family member, or just being in an environment of fight or, is it called fight or flight, flight or fight?
Yeah.
One of those terms. I grew up in a fight or flight situation where my biological father was extremely abusive to my mother. And so at a very young age, probably when I was in her womb. So again, when they say like generational curses or things that are passed down, some of us are going to therapy just because of our family and because of the environment that we were raised.
Yeah.
It's all energy at the end of the day. So anyway, thank you guys for being transparent in this conversation, because it's a real topic that needs to be addressed. And again, May is Mental Health Awareness, you guys, and we're going to dive in just a little bit deeper and discuss this, because I'm very interested in this topic. I do have a brother who is mentally ill. He was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, and I was extremely close to him. We went through a tumultuous situation. We were best friends at one point. We no longer talk, but that's okay. But anyways, we'll come back, and in a minute we will discuss the rest of this mental health awareness and add to it, and we'll be right back. All right, you guys, we are back from break talking about mental health awareness. It's May, and so we got to talk about it, and we want to get the information out to the public. I will say there are some everyday mental health tips to help you elevate your mood and help you become more resilient. Practice self-care and make yourself a priority. That's something that I think in society, ladies, that we're not always taught to make ourselves priority. As women, especially too, and I gotta kind of preference this in saying, as women, we're always taught to take care of everybody else. Take care of your man, take care of your kids, make sure your managers are happy, blah, blah, blah. But no one ever says, make sure you take care of yourself. Well, some people do, but it's rare, right? We were programmed to take care of everybody else except us. And then if you do take care of yourself, then you're looked at as selfish.
Selfish.
Mm.
So with that said, the first step in practicing self-care is to take care of your body, because your body is a temple. I don't care what they tell you. This is the body that your spirit is in this lifetime. In order to do this, it is important to, number one, you guys, eat a healthy diet. I know that can be easier said than done, especially when you live in America, because as we know, there are all these chemicals in our food. But I was told and taught, and I don't know if you guys were, if you go into a grocery store, shop around the stores, not on the inside aisles. Inside aisles are the ones that have the most chemicals. The outside have the least amount of chemicals, and that's because it has to be refrigerated for like the fresh fruits and things like that. The inside aisles are more on the freezer and the stuff that goes in the microwave. Okay, that's number one. Eat a healthy diet. Research has shown that what you eat and don't eat will affect the way you think and feel. That's powerful, you guys. What you eat can affect your mind. It does affect your mind. It's chemicals, right?
Absolutely.
Exercise, which can help decrease depression and anxiety and improve moods. We've seen Lovey D doing her activities and her walks. She loves to show it. We've seen Jen for real 100 in the gym. I don't show it, but trust me, I take my walks every day, and I have throughout my years have seen a fitness person. And this summer, my daughter, by the way, she's a kinesiology major. I had to throw that in there. She's gonna be getting me in shape, you guys. I'm about to hit the gym again and do some weight training, so I can't wait.
Woohoo! Get that strength training in.
Yes, ma'am. And get enough sleep. Something that a lot of us, especially if you're perimenopause or menopausal, is hard to do because your brain activity, you're overthinking, you're a little bit more stressed, you're worried, and it is hard to kind of decompress from your day. So getting sleep, obviously, that's when your cells are rejuvenating, recharging. And as women, we take care of so much that it's hard for us to sometimes calm down and get that relaxing sleep. But it is important. So do what you need to do to get that sleep. Now, here's something that is hard for us because we are in social media. We are on the internet. We're always on our phones. We're working. But this is hard to do. They tell us to disconnect from electronics and social media. I tell you what I had to stop doing. I kind of got away from like watching like reality TV, even though I love it. It's like my junk. I had to disconnect from TV a little bit. But consider adding an electronics-free time period of your day, taking time to unplug and disconnect from the constant stream of emails. That's hard because, we deal with a lot of emails for work.
Mm-hmm.
Alerts will allow you to interact with people face-to-face and will help reduce the many feelings of FOMO. You guys know what that means, right?
Yep, fear of missing out.
Yes. And I heard that for the first time from my cousin Carly, by the way. Shout out to my cousin Carly in Michigan. She's young. I think she's 23, 24. Anyway, that's the FOMO that social media can often stir up. Engage in activities that provide meaning. Partake in activities that make you feel happy, productive. Challenge your creativity, whether you're drawing. I will tell you guys, I love art. I love doing like redecorating in a chair, doing like the painting of the chair. I do that a lot. A lot of people don't know that about me because I do not share that. But that's one thing that I have started to do that's totally different, or like just, painting my house or something.
Okay. I have coloring books, adult coloring books.
A lot of people do that. My mom does that, Jen. Yeah. Something creative. It's a different part of your brain working, and it calms and soothes you down. I don't know, Lovey, did you know that does that?
I did. I had never even heard of adult coloring books until now.
Yeah,
Oh, you see them in Five Below.
have them. Yeah, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. They have them in Walmart, Target. I have a whole colored pen set.
I got one right now. I haven't used it yet. But
what's the difference in an adult coloring book and a children's coloring book?
You don't have cartoons.
Cartoons. Your kid.
They may be fashion, You design dresses, but it's grown women, not children. And
Okay.
maybe what's called a manala or mandala. It's like a it's a thing that's in, it's like a drawing that's in meditation.
Yep.
It
Okay.
goes around in a circle and
Like a
stuff.
design.
It could be
Okay.
flowers, it could be
Yep.
buildings, it could be beaches. So it's
Let's
not
check that out.
childlike, it's things that associate with. I have a couple of coloring,
Okay.
adult coloring books that are different. One is for like a meditation one, and one is fashion.
Yeah. And my mom taught me about that, Jen. So she has she had some adult coloring books, and I saw them at Five Below actually. And it's very intricate. They're smaller,
Yeah,
Lovey. And it gets you to do an activity that is just for you and nobody else. You're not posting it. You're not really sharing it with anybody. It's just for you, and it kind of allows you to kind of go within yourself and do something that it just kind of takes your mind off of it kind of draws you in. It
so
draws you in.
soothing. It's so
I'm gonna have
soothing.
to,
Well, I'll color with my granddaughter, and it's just so soothing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see if I can get me some of those then, for sure.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I forgot about Five Below. Yeah, Five Below has tons of them.
Mhm. So whether through drawing, taking an exercise class, going out to dinner with friends, or caring for a pet, spending quality time with those who matter to you can make you feel good. So that's why they say like grandparents who spend time with their grandchildren, not necessarily out of obligation, but just spending time with them and soaking up their energy. There are tons of studies, you guys, and I don't know if you guys know this because you guys are both grandparents, but spending time with your grandchildren can give you kind of like a endorphin type of situation, like how you have a pet, like when you have a pet and how it can soothe you and make you feel calm. They say that's the same effect as like a grandchild can have on a person as well.
Yeah, I think when I have my grandchildren around, even when I'm having some of my days, quote unquote, and I have my grandchildren around, it does lift my spirits, just interacting with them. And even though they get on my nerves after about an hour with those squeaky cartoon type voices of theirs, having them around does put me in a better mood or lift my spirits, I could say. And I could almost quote unquote, again, y'all know I love my air quotes, a reason for living, type feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely can see that.
I saw, I think it was Dateline or something. I can't remember. Or, there was a show that was talking about once you've reached a pinnacle of your life where you no longer have meaning. So a lot of times when someone lives alone, they don't have a pet or they don't volunteer. Because they said volunteer is also another way, Lovey and Jen, that can give you a sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're in a situation where all you're doing is watching TV, so I don't know if you guys have seen that, but like they used to show older people always just watching TV, sitting in front of the TV, wasting away. You're really programming. So, television, right? Television. So now you're just feeding into that and you're no longer being creative. You're
Mm-hmm.
no longer giving to anyone.
Television. Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that television is programming you, just FYI. It's whatever you're programming, just like music. Music is, oh my gosh, they did a study on music. Well, God, we got so much to talk about. They did a study, and actually it was an actor, and I forget his name. My husband had told me about it. But they did a program saying that the music you listen to can actually change your DNA. It's scientific. That's how powerful music can be, just FYI.
Yeah.
But with that being said, everything that you listen to, everything that you view, it kind of controls your spirit. It controls your DNA. So you have to be careful of like the activities that you're doing and things that you want to bring into your field of energy. Okay.
You ever heard the thing, junk in, junk out? Like we talk about it a lot, especially like if you work with computers a lot. And we always talk about data entry and make sure everything's accurate. And I was like, you know what? Junk in, junk out. Whatever you put in, what's going to come out.
And I just learned the other day too, you guys. I saw this video where it was like a Reiki. Are you guys familiar with Reiki? I'm not that familiar. I heard about it. It's kind of like spiritual healing, where I learned like every day you can just imagine that you're getting off. Like say you go into the office, get that energy off you, and it's just something that you can do yourself.
Oh, Reiki.
Reiki, is it Reiki?
Yeah. Yeah. R-E-I-K-I. Yeah, Reiki.
Reiki. Okay. So I heard that you could just kind of go like this,
it's like a magnetic field. Yeah, you can, because everything is
video portion. For the radio portion, you guys, I'm just kind of physically taking my hands and dusting myself off is what I'm doing because you can't see what I'm doing on the radio.
But
I'm
you don't
that way
actually
about my
touch
house.
yourself. Yeah, you don't actually touch yourself, but just enough
Removing
to,
that
yeah.
energy.
Because there's energy in our force fields, energy. Just like you think of like you have static, like somebody touched, like, oh, you shocked me.
Yeah.
That's the energy force field that's in our body.
Yeah,
I'm
like-
that way about my house. I have to cleanse my home. Like literally, I walk through my house and just meditate. Not so much burn the sage and the whole night, but I just walk through my house and meditate and manifest. And then I actually will open my door and like push it out. I like, move it out. I just, so
I
and
sage.
sometimes I've even taken a broom and swept it out. Like,
And
okay,
I sage and
Yes.
open my windows
Yes.
and doors and let that spirit up out of there, get
Yes.
up out of here.
yeah, some people
That's what
come to my house. I have to open my door and like get that energy out that they brought. I can't be.
Mhm.
So you guys know when real quick, I don't know if the audience doesn't know this, but we were part of a reality show called ATL Socially Lit. And me and Jen got into a little, I'm gonna bring it up, I don't care. Me and Jen got into
We
a
love
little
each other
tiff.
now.
Me and Jen got into a little tiff, and that night I saged and I was doing some energy clearance in the house. Jen is like, Lord, the memories are coming back. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment. I didn't know what hit me. I was like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah,
And that's one of my triggers that a lot of people don't know. That's my trigger, the unknown.
Yeah.
Anything unexpected happen, any sudden change, any sudden anything, that's my trigger. That's my fight or flight.
That explains everything.
Bree, I wanted to hit you upside the head with a bottle. I really did. They kept passing me out. You have the bottle talk. And I ain't kept had that bottle now I was gonna talk. I wanted to take, I really did. I love you, Bree. So I said, instead of fight, I left your house. So that was my flight.
Flight. Yeah.
And
But
I was
you
in there
know-
doing my typical bawling and crying. Oh my God.
Stop it. Wanda from Good Times.
I just love Lovey. Lovey was always crying. So anyways, you guys, we had this reality show called ATL Socially Lit, which you could probably actually still find episodes on YouTube right now. I believe some of those might still be
I
up.
haven't got removed or get removed after this.
Anyway, we learned a lot from that time though. We were, I feel like I'm like a whole different person even from that. Like what was that? 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Camel time.
It was right after Camel. Camel was single ladies of Atlanta.
2019, 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
It
Single
was
ladies of Atlanta was
17,
first,
18.
Camel, and then we got ATL Socially Lit after that.
Good times, crazy times.
The worst of times, the best of times.
And just think, all that brought us together closer than
And
ever.
look at God. Here we are now.
The
We're giving
camel
all
did
of
not
our-
break it. The camel
We're giving all of our busy bees, all of our listeners, just a little glimpse of, you know how it is like when you're in childhood, when you have that person that you got into a fight with or something, and then now you're best friends, or
And here
I
we
don't know.
are.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how it was a little bit, even though me and Lovey never, we didn't go
I
through
think
that.
you
but-
talked about me behind my back with the other.
No, I never did.
I did not.
Look, this is some more drama for Forever Young. Next reality show.
Never.
This is for the next reality show, Busy Bees.
I think it's bad karma to talk about people, especially if they're not deserving of it. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
And I can't say about me and Jen, I don't think Jen and I ever had any episode that we recorded, even more so, that we ever had a bad conversation about anyone to a point that it was messy. We may have
Right.
identified some concerns we have. I don't think anything was ever messy.
And now that I
Love
know
it just told the camera. Because Love it just told the camera.
Well, that was another. It's
Yeah.
my mom's. That's a horse with a different collar.
she doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh, that was a camel with a different collar.
The camel needed to be tranquilized.
Ellie, the camel has 2 humps.
She brought it on herself. Anyways, all right, you guys. We'll as you know, anything goes on Busy Breeze. All right. Hopefully my busy bees are hanging in there. We gotta take a quick break and we will be right back. All right, you guys, and we are back talking about mental health awareness because we are in the month of May. We're talking about some practicing safe self-care and making yourself a priority. Something that wasn't always, I think, taught. I was not taught that. I don't know about you girls, but I was not taught that. I was told a whole lot of other things other than that. But the last step that they kind of talk about, you guys, is volunteering. If you have time to volunteer. So the meaning and purpose derived from helping others or the community can enrich and expand your life and make you happier. There's no limit to the individual and group volunteer opportunities that you can explore. So as you know, I do know when I was younger, you guys, I don't know if you guys heard of was it the Big Brothers, Big Sisters?
Yes.
Right.
I think they still have it. They still have it.
Yeah, they still have it.
I had a big sister and
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. She would come and we'd go to the movies, we'd do things. So I did have a big sister, but then that ended when she had a baby.
Oh, she had her own little sister.
Yes. Yes. But like I said, this happened when my mom was a single parent at the time. And so I really did enjoy it. And I think that's why I became a babysitter when I was old enough. So,
okay.
What are some other things? I know that you guys said that you guys have both sought out some therapists and things like that. Jen, do you have anything that you want to share from maybe some suggestions that you were given that can help out the listeners, the busy bees out there?
Yeah, both my doctor, my psychiatrist. My mother flipped out first time I said psychiatrist.
Yep.
So I never said psychiatrist anymore to her because she lost psychiatrist.
My therapist.
So now I don't even say nothing. I want to say, Mom, I love you, but I think you might need to see one. But anyway, meditation. So I got that both from my therapist and my psychiatrist. He was the first one to always say that meditation, because he was from India. So he was big on meditation. So he kept saying, meditate. So I use meditation. Meditation is not easy. It takes skill. It takes practice. It takes doing it in small micro doses. So now I can meditate for a whole hour and nothing bothers me. But it took a long period. So I do it in micro doses. Like I may do it 5 minutes in the morning, 7 minutes, 12 minutes, 30 minutes before bed. Because then sometimes I don't even get through all that. Depends on how my mind is racing because all the anxiety I have in there. So, and then just decompressing, turning off the TV, turning off the social media. I have a timer on my phone for social media. I'm not sure if it's just an iPhone or Androids have it too, but there's called screen time limits. You can limit your screen time. You can set it on which apps you want to limit it on. So I have it on all my social media apps. And it lets you know it's time. You can set it for an hour a day. And it lets you know when that time is up. Now, of course, it lets you extend. You can say extend for 15 minutes, or you could say ignore 15 minutes or ignore indefinitely or ignore for the day, for the next 24 hours. So I try not to hit that ignore more than a couple of times for 15 minutes if, if I'm really in the sub. Sitting outside, getting in the sun, because when I'm in my depressive state, I don't want no light. I don't want no music. I don't want no sound. I just want total darkness. I don't want to hear nothing, but all I'm doing is listening to the negative thoughts in my head. And for some reason that's soothing than me just getting out, trying to do something about it. So making sure that I keep my blinds are open, the natural sunlight come in. So I'm intentional about opening my blinds, letting the natural sunlight come in, because I love natural light, except for that time when I'm depressed. And then even light therapy. My therapist, she suggested having light therapy because I found out that I have seasonal depression. Did not know it until it hit me like a ton of bricks this winter. So there's this thing she gave me to put on my phone, and it's called the STOP technique. It's interrupt anxious thoughts and feelings. Number one, you're going to stop. When you notice yourself feeling anxious or overwhelmed, stop what you're doing or thinking for a moment. T means take a deep breath. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale slowly through your mouth. Repeat several times. The O is for observe. Notice what is happening in your body and mind. Acknowledge the feelings and thoughts you are experiencing. And P mean proceed. Choose how you would like to proceed, focusing on activities or thoughts that make you calm and happy. And that really has helped me. I save it on my phone. I put reminders on my phone throughout the day with positive affirmations like, you're enough, you're beautiful, like just different times of day to just pop up on my phone and just take me out of my deep thought. It'd be Bible verses on there, or maybe it's like stop. Like every morning, mine is on I'm thankful for, and I have to name 5 things I'm thankful for. And I got that off of a TV show. It was a reality show, and the guy had to do that. He was going through depression. I forgot what show I was watching, and he would do that every day. And I was like, dang, let me do that. So I set a timer on my phone. Every morning I wake up, I read my Bible verse, and I name 5 things out loud that I'm thankful for.
I love that. I really do. I have some affirmations that I have in my office before I start work, because sometimes work can trigger.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Well, that'll be another show. But I wanted to mention that because I do that in different ways as well. I haven't quite gotten to your doing the meditation is very difficult when you have a young child, because you could, it's very difficult because they interrupt you sometimes at the middle of the night, early in the morning, trying to use the bathroom. It's like,
yeah, you can't accept children. They will find you and hunt you down.
Yes.
it is. I do want to find some advice on how to do those meditations when you do have young children, because it can be extremely challenging.
Yeah, microdoses. Even if it's just 5 minutes that you can steal away, like during the work day.
Yeah.
Like
That's
5 minutes on your lunch break. Like sit in your car. I used to do that, sitting in my car.
Mm-hmm.
In my car.
I love that. Lovey, what do you do?
Some of the things that Jen named out, definitely the meditation. I like her. I love the natural sunlight. Every morning, as soon as I get up, the first thing I do is I roll out of bed, dust my sheets, make my bed, and I open my blinds. Every set of curtains I have here in my bedroom, I actually will open up all of them. As soon as I get downstairs, I open up every blind, let that natural sunlight come in. And if I wake up, sometimes I wake up not in the best mood, I'll try and find me some high-spirited music. I love playing me some like Michael Jackson in the morning, some Beat It, some Thriller, something I know I'm going to start dancing to get me there. Those things I found help me. Speaking those affirmations, speaking that positivity into my life, into myself, and manifesting it. Being raised in church, I'm still a praying person, but I've become more of a manifestation and speaking things into existence more than just praying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more spiritual religious.
Absolutely. And so those things I have found, and one of the biggest things I know that I had to do now that I'm getting older is separate myself from negative people and that negative energy. When I get those phone calls, it's from someone I know that is going to start with a negative conversation. Sometimes it's family members. I nip it in the bud. If I'm already knowing I'm already having a moment and that it's going to trigger me into a spiral, I ignore the call, or I pick up and say, hey, is everything okay? Yeah, but such, okay, but let me hit you back. I'm just getting my day started, because I don't want it to get fed into me already. I'm trying to empty out already and refill with the positive. So a lot of things that Jen for Real 100 just identify, absolutely, I would say for sure work. In a lot of ways, I think that people can start to even deal with their stigma or the mental illnesses. Definitely make sure you get treatment. And don't let your mental illness create self-doubt in you, as hard as that can be sometimes. You start to equate yourself with your illness. And another thing I found that hurt me more than helped me, I would isolate myself. I didn't want to be around nobody. Like Jen said, I just wanted to be in the dark and I just wanted to sleep. And I guess at some point, I hope I would wake up and the issue is gone or the feeling is gone. And that hurt me more than it helped me, because it made me spiral. So do not isolate yourself. Make sure you get that natural light. Me, I'm a beach person. For any and everybody who knows me, my reset is the beach. So if you've got something that feels good to you, something that helps you release, brings that calm and peace to your life, I would say get it as often as you can. Those are the things, again, that helps me deal.
Yeah. Great tips. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Lovey. I will definitely say I love the beach as well. It's something about, especially like Jamaica, which we know our girl Jen just came from. I love Jamaica. It's something about Jamaica specifically.
It's a very calming, it's something, Jamaica is something, it's very calming. I don't know what
I love it. And Mexico too. I know Mexico has those beautiful beaches, and I want to say Bahamas. Just smelling the salt water, the breeze, it's just so freeing, because I think it's so different than like your corporate job, being cooped up in your office, whether you're at home or even in an actual brick and mortar type of situation. I think being out, and I think that that's how it was meant to be, you guys. Like God created everything that we need. We do not actually need all this stuff that we've surrounded ourselves with.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you feel that natural connection, Lovey, to the beach, because there's some scientific proof that shows like sand, the
Yep.
air, the water is really,
Grass.
yes, in
Really, it's
nature.
like all the elements of the earth.
Yeah.
We got fire, wind, what is it? Water, fire,
Yeah.
water.
For
Yeah.
me, it's just when I'm at the beach, no matter what I got going on, like the end of the world could be coming. And it's just something about me being out there, standing at the ocean and speaking to God. For me, it's like there's nothing stopping my words from reaching the heavens.
Yeah.
It's like just open sky. And
Yeah.
when I'm having that moment of tranquility, everything's fine. They say that the song says everything's fine with me, you know, whatever. I forget who sang the song, but at that moment for me, it's like if I could be having one of my worst depressing moments when I get in that ocean or at the beach in that open sky and I can look up, it's almost like I'm looking up to heaven. And I know that may sound kind of weird for someone who has,
it does.
you know, but it's like I'm looking up, it's like I have a direct connect to God or direct connect to the heavens. And
Yes.
it gives me peace.
The nature.
Because you're not I'm going to tell you why too, because there's not all the buildings and all the noise.
Yes.
I will say when I moved, and this is a kind of going off topic, but kind of similar. So when I moved out of the city that I was previously at to where I'm in now, there's less people here.
Mhm.
And there's less chaos and even traffic a little bit. There's traffic still, but not as much. And even the people are a little different. And I felt an energy shift.
Mhm.
So I feel better here than I did where I was previously at.
Yeah, and you can see the stars. You
can see the stars, yes.
The sky at night.
These
Yes.
Georgia peaches rubbed off on you.
Yes, yes. And so I will say, have you guys ever heard of earthing, which is like you're supposed to put your feet
grounding. I ground
grounding and earthing, yes. And then they did a
barefoot on the grass and
they said if you're feeling sad, hugging trees, up negative energy. I try to hug a tree, you guys, but unfortunately, a lot of the trees around here have ants. So one time I was trying to hug a tree, and I'm like,
It goes back to the term like when the 70s, you know, everybody was showing love. They was calling people tree huggers.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. But I think
walking barefoot in the grass as a child. I never did as a child because I have a thing with my feet and hands. My mom will tell you I'm nice, nasty. There's something about my feet and my hand. I don't even walk around my house barefoot. And I don't
think I don't slacks right now.
Like, I don't like to cook, especially if something gonna be slimy. I would cook with gloves. Everybody like, who fried chicken with gloves on?
Yeah, I get it.
I used to something, but now I would go outside and I will actually stand barefoot in the grass.
Yeah. Just walk around. Until those jumping spiders, see in Georgia, there's so many spiders and all these creatures and crawlers but anyways, one day me and my daughter, I said, you were supposed to hug trees, so we have tons of trees out here, right? So we were like, okay, what's a tree? We wanted to find a tree that didn't have a lot of ants, so we thought we found one until you looked at the bark and there's all these ants. So I went to hug a tree. And there went my meditation session. So
what? Then y'all just do the barrier. Don't actually physically hug the tree. And then to get the vibration and the
feel the air,
and
the energy from the tree.
And if you can stand it, laying on the grass and just soaking up the sun and bringing in all that energy out of the universe, I think those things can help when you're dealing with any type of mental illness, or definitely I'm say depression in my case. I think those things I have found help me to just draw in that energy from the universe and from the earth, because it's there, people. It's all around you. You just got to be able to gravitate it and pull it and absorb it and accept it.
Yep. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we are about to wrap up this show on mental health awareness for the month of May. Thank you, Jen, for 100 for bringing this to our attention. But we do, unfortunately, our time is coming to an end and we do have to take a quick break. So we will be right back.
All right, and we are back, and I hope that you all enjoyed another episode of Busy Bree's Hot Topics with Busy Bree herself, Lovey D, Miss Lovey to the DD, and myself, Jen for Real 100. And for all our busy breeze out there, we want to make sure that you all tune in to Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Find us, Busy Breed Hot Topics, on all those platforms. Subscribe, listen, tell a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, tell your family. And you know what? And that's our show for the night. Holla.